You thought I was leaving? Ha, it wasn't me. They came knocking at my door, talking scandal, talking war, cameras flashing every night, but I'm still sitting in the spotlight. Dollar bills inside the couch, everybody running mouths. Mr. President, explain. I just smile and dodge the blame. They say the farm became a scene, but politics ain't squeaky clean. Some road cops went chasing fame, trying to cash in on my name. Oh, Julia, stop your shouting. DA, stop your pouting. You can march and you can cry, but I ain't saying goodbye. I will not go. Oh no, I will not go. Like Shaggy said, it wasn't me. They stole my money, stole my show, but I'm still where I wanna be. I will not go. Oh no, I will not go. The Concord talking endlessly. It's business as usual at the ANC, and the president is still me. Ankle Bull was worth the price. 580 grand now, ain't that nice? Mr. Mustafa paid in cash. Too much money, had to stash. Safe was busted, banks were closed. What else could anybody propose? Stuff the sofa, pack it tight. Keep the furniture out of sight. Everybody loves to preach, but power's always out of reach. I'm the captain of this ship, and I ain't about to slip. Fikile, don't even bother. Save your speeches for another. The movement's here and so am I. ANC will never die. I will not go. Oh no, I will not go. You scream corruption on TV, but it's my way or the highway, bro. And this chair belongs to me. I will not go. Oh no, I will not go. You can protest endlessly. It's business as usual at the ANC, and the president is still me. You can wave your little papers, you can hold your big debates, but the man inside the union building still controls the gates. You say scandal, I say survival. You say shame, I say revival. No resignation fantasy. From Fala to Pretoria, this whole thing's history. I will not go. Oh no, I will not go. So get over it and let me be. The ANC is here to stay, and so am I, eternally. Mr. President, still seated, still smiling, it wasn't me. Yeah.
Marvin Divine. I'm saying bye to all the lies and all the times you cried, saying that I wasn't right, yet I was right by your side. You manipulator, playing games, your friends commentators, and I don't know what you say about our private conversations, but it's got them hating. Thanks to all the rumors you be claiming. It's cool, I'm done with you, so they can throw you a celebration. You gon' hate it when you see me with somebody living better. I'm trying to tell you that me just doing me gon' have you jealous.
President Cyril Ramaphosa, South Africa's president since 2018, arrogantly declaring last night that he will not go. I will not go. Song, a tribute to the Ramaphosa. Welcome back to the program, folks. It is Tuesday, May 12th, 2026, the one-year anniversary of South Africans arriving in the United States. The 59ers arrived here 1 year ago today. If you missed it, we had a live stream with some of the 59ers a short while ago and some other refugees who arrived since then. But 1 year since the first South Africans arrived here under President Trump's program for those being racially persecuted in South Africa, which includes whites, coloreds, and Indians. Welcome to one and all who've arrived here in this safe haven of the United States. Pleasure to have you join us once again. Suno is slightly woke. I wrote the lyrics. I put them into Gemini, knowing that Gemini is awful woke. And the intent with Gemini was to get Gemini to sex them up a little bit. Gemini refused to do that, so I took my lyrics and posted them in Chat GPT, which is not so woke, and it gave me that. It took my lyrics and made them pop. And then, because it wasn't directly being rude to Ramaphosa as such, Suno allowed the music to be created. So I used Suno. Yep. All right, there you go. Suno has rapidly become the gold standard when it comes to artificial intelligence song music generation. They've been doing a great job. So, all right. Okay, so lots of news to talk about as usual, and this first news program since Thursday. Did I do one Friday? I think I did one Friday. Sorry, since Friday. So Don Janssen van Rensburg, because I was traveling over the weekend. And thank you, Lindy Jordan, for the $5 New Zealand super sticker. Thank you so much for that. You'll be back. Are you going somewhere? Thank you for sharing that. Appreciate that super sticker. All right, so we're only about 196 in the audience. What's going on here today? Vilma Herm, welcome to Emerencia Quinn. Okay, let me see if there's anything I missed here. I'm not going to greet everybody because it's time for the news. We forgot about the Neanderthals, the car guards, the FEMA tents, all of that nonsense. Remember that? Erica's here. There's Erica. She's an OG. And there's Fonz, who was on the show earlier. Hendo, we couldn't find Hendo earlier. I guess he missed the program. We were threatening to bring him on because he sounds and looks an awful lot like Fonz. Okay, and what have we missed here? Anything else? You no longer have a couch. You should haunt the new buyers. Okay. Business as usual at the ANC, and the president is still me. Exactly. You like that, Tampa chick. Yeah, 1 year anniversary of the program is today. And we've seen Ramaphosa claim that he will not leave office. The man who had resigned but had not submitted his paperwork previously says, I'm not going anywhere. Well, he will go somewhere eventually. His term will end, whether it's through the expiration of his term or it is through removal from office. Ramaphosa is going somewhere. We're all going somewhere eventually. So he can sit there and pretend he's not going anywhere, but the reality is he will be gone, and sooner than he realizes. Oh, you're on the road. Okay. Well, we missed you, Hendo. We were trying to drag you into the conversation. I will not resign, says Ramaphosa as he heads to court over Palo Palo. I remain here and I'm not resigning. Well, we'll see how long that lasts. Arrogant man. EFF statement. EFF further expects the speaker to oppose a new review application of the President of the Republic. Yep. Caramel. He's challenging the independent panel report that recommended he face an impeachment inquiry over Palo Palo. By doing so, he's blocking that inquiry from proceeding until the courts rule. Well, here's the bottom line. It's not about Parliament. It's not about impeachment. It's about criminal prosecution. Somebody kidnapped those people from Namibia. Somebody broke the law with Namibian police. Somebody tortured those people. Somebody then bribed them not to speak about it. And somebody hid millions of dollars in furniture, not $580,000, but millions of dollars. The lies by Sir Ramaphosa about $580,000 trying to create a cock and bull story about a bull, an Angola bull that supposedly was bought by some Mustafa Hazim Sudanese businessman. All poppycock, all balderdash, nothing but bold-faced lies. And then the fraud committed by the VIP protection unit in falsely reporting that there were no instances at any of the 43 residences they guarded that previous year. Utter bullshit. Total lies. Where is the criminal prosecution for money laundering, for perversion of the means of justice, for kidnapping, for torture, for bribery, for abuse of office? Ethics violations I don't care about. Parliament, who cares if you impeach him? These are criminal acts. Who's responsible? If Cyril didn't do it, then who did? Who did? Somebody tell me who did. And why isn't there a prosecution? Why haven't there been bench warrants issued for arrest? Why have we not seen charges preferred after 6 years of waiting? Why? While South Africa's attention is being distracted over here, oh, look at the impeachment, look at the impeachment, look at the impeachment. There is nothing being done on the criminal prosecution. These are crimes. These are felonies. These are prima facie evidentiary information proving that these crimes occurred. And nothing is being done about it. Nothing is being done about it. This is one gangster organization, the African National Congress. They have betrayed the liberation struggle. They have betrayed black South Africans. They have betrayed all South Africans, and they have oppressed whites, coloreds, and Indians in doing so. This is an illegitimate regime that should not be in power through a crooked, faux democratic process of voting for party list, and they select the reprobates that represent you in parliament, in your town council, and the provincial legislature. This is not real. This is Brazil and Terry Gilliam. This is a fantasy cooked up by leftists who hate humanity and live in it for their own self-aggrandizement, self-enrichment, and naked, craven political power. Was he late last night? I didn't even see it. I was traveling. Not surprised that he was late. Toko Dedidze confirms receipt of no confidence motions. Ooh. The Office of Speaker of the National Assembly, Toko Dedidze, has said that while it has received the motion of no confidence vote from Mkhonto Sizwe and the African Transformation Movement, there is a process that must be followed. On Friday, the Constitutional Court ruled that Parliament's handling of the Palapala report was unconstitutional and invalid, ordering the matter must return to Parliament's impeachment committee. Now he's facing a no confidence vote. On Monday, Dedidze confirmed that Parliament will establish an impeachment committee. Separately, also received letters from ATM and MK stating that they are invoking Section 102 of the Constitution to trigger a vote of no confidence. Well, I agree with that. Definitely there should be a vote of no confidence here. The ATM stated that Ramaphosa's continued tenure severely undermines the integrity of the office of president. His mere presence is undermining from the outset. From the very outset, when all of you clowns out there that fell for Ramaphoria, remember that nonsense? I wasn't one of them. I warned you from the outset there's a chance if they're serious, but they weren't serious. Well, according to the former speaker, the ANC abused its majority when it shot down the Palapala probe. And her argument isn't that Ramaphosa is guilty. It's that if they had just picked the committee members and handpicked them, they would have gotten the result they wanted. Now they're in a bind. So she's upset that the ANC screwed up. Former Speaker Nosisiwe Mapisa Ula admitted the ANC abused its majority to block the impeachment in 2022. Yet in May 2023, she told the National Assembly, "We did our job. We followed the rules to the end, honorable members." That was a lie then, and she's a liar now. The Constitutional Court invalidated the National Assembly's rule allowing it to vote on impeachment inquiries, citing Parliament's duty to hold the executive accountable. So she didn't do her job. She violated the Constitution, and she lied about it. This is in stark contrast to what she said back in 2023. The independent panel, which was appointed by her in her capacity as Speaker, found that Ramaphosa had a prima facie case to answer. She told Nlozi that she listened to every word of the ruling. She said, also brings very sad memories to me, party line. She claimed the ANC Secretary General Fikile Mbalula addressed the ANC caucus and instructed them to vote against the independent panel's report. She referred to Mbalula several times during the interview. Well, why didn't they vote their conscience? I was always anxious about what ruling it would give on Palapala. I was pained by the court ruling because now it's back to Parliament and the environment is completely different. Yeah, you can't railroad the public. Ramaphosa will be gone soon. We are in a GNU. Not only are we in a GNU, we do not have a majority in Parliament. If Mr. Nlozi had gone the route we were supposed to go at that time, I don't think we would have had the kind of problems we're likely to have now. We still had a majority. She said the outcome of the impeachment inquiry could have favored the commander-in-chief, who would have an opportunity to ventilate his side of the story. And I'm saying we could have allowed that process to go through and put people we want in the committee, like we do in other committees, and show people they had nothing to fear. No, you had everything to cover up with your corrupt, bought politicians who owe all their loyalty to Lutuli House, not to the people of South Africa. So Nisiviwe, she is not upset about the ruling. She's upset that the ruling has now exposed the fraud and the rotten, stinking, seething, skanky underbelly that is the African National Congress. Wow. We should just get a broom and sweep Parliament this week. Start with Zweli Mkhize. still sitting in Parliament despite prima facie evidence he committed fraud in the Digital Vibes scandal. Still sitting in Parliament. He should be gone. And we can continue right from there with Cyril Ramaphosa and Julius Malema. Sweep them out. They should be gone. They should be gone. Well, the correct political route, according to Kasatu, is for Ramaphosa to resign. Allegations compromise president's moral political standing, say unions and political parties. Organized labor said it notes and respects Ramaphosa's decision not to resign, but the correct political route for him is to resign. Wow. Kasatu Parliamentary Coordinator Matthew Parks said, "We welcome President's taking the nation into confidence on this pressing matter and are comforted by his consistent and principled affirmation of the judiciary's independence and its constitutionally enshrined role with regards to holding the executive accountable at all times." What? Matthew, what the hell are you saying? I'm going to have to get him on the program to explain that. I mean, I speak English. I'm a rather accomplished author and quite fluent in this language, and I have no idea what the hell he's trying to say. We welcome the president taking the nation into his confidence. How? By arriving late and lying on this pressing matter, and are comforted by his consistent principled affirmation of the judiciary's independence. Okay, what's he supposed to say other than that? And his constitutionally enshrined role with regards to holding the executive accountable at all times. Basically, Matthew Parks is saying nothing by saying something. I don't understand that. He said it was not the time to play with the public gallery, irrespective of pending local elections, politicians' desperation for social media likes. But Zwelinzima Zvavi, she's the head of, no, she's not, that's a guy, excuse me. As a law-abiding federation, SAFTU respects the president's constitutional right to challenge the findings of the panel. However, SAFTU remains of the view that the correct political route should have been for the president to resign. I said Kasatu, I'm sorry. It's SAFTU. Wow. Wow. A president carrying such serious allegations cannot credibly lead the fight against corruption or act decisively against ministers, senior officials facing allegations of wrongdoing. This weakens the authority of the presidency and deepens the crisis of public trust, said Vavi. 100%. For his part, the Democratic Alliance new leader, Jordan Hill Lewis, says this remains an ANC-made crisis rooted in serious unanswered questions about the president's conduct and the ANC's long record of shielding its own leaders from accountability. Spot on. Spot on. Wow. Wow. Yep, someone says, acting like Zuma, endless court cases, protracted negotiations, endless appeals just so he can hang on to the power, the perks, and the boodle for his sofa stash. Typical ANC money grubber. That's a comment someone posted. Cyril must fall. Remember Zuma must fall? Now it's Cyril must fall. The MK party demands Ramaphosa's resignation. Wow. Pala Pala Rogue, step aside, Cyril. Cyril Ramaphosa must resign. And Ramaphosa must fall, resign now, were some of the placards carried by MK party members outside the Durban International Convention Center, where Africa's Travel Indaba is taking place. In Durban? Wow, I hope they can stand the stench. The members also dressed in MK party regalia, sang and danced outside the venue while Ramaphosa was still inside. MK Party Itaquini Regional Task Team member Ina Dlamini said the MK Party in KwaZulu-Natal and Itaquini region were there to demonstrate to the public and world at large that they feel it's about time Ramaphosa resign as president. Screw resign, prosecute him. Prosecute him. We are confident Ramaphosa will leave office as soon as possible. Not many of them there, though. Illegal immigrants must go. Yeah, that has nothing to do with the topic at hand. Ramaphosa called everyone to sit down and watch him, saying nothing. In fact, he was telling us that he's in charge. He's not going to resign because he's in charge of this country. As the MK party, we want to tell South Africa that Ramaphosa is not in charge of this country. The people of South Africa, the voters of this country, the poor and the marginalized of this country are in charge of this country. No, the poor and marginalized are not in charge of the country. They are not. They got the statement mostly right till they got to that part. The poor don't bother to vote, so they have no say. Nkatla, Pala Pala aren't the same, says the ANC Youth League. Oh, but they're worse. You're right. ANC Youth League idiots. ANC Youth League President Colin Malachi, who's clueless about reality, claims they're not the same. Addressing a press briefing at the Thule House on Tuesday, Malachi said the public discourse around Pala Pala stands to be rejected by the League as there appears to be continued political opportunism from some quarters and organizations seeking to weaponize legal process and state institutions in pursuit of factional agendas and media sensationalism. What? Dude, money laundering, $8.5 million smuggled into South Africa, buried in the sofa at Ramaphosa's ranch. to his knowledge, aware of it, not reported to SARS. What was the money for? Why were people kidnapped from Namibia? Why were they tortured? Why were the police lying about the VIP residence reports? Shut your cake hole, ANC Youth League. These are crimes, serious felony crimes. And Ramaphosa has skated on this for 6 years. He should have been removed from office as soon as it was reported. Now, the ANC Youth League, while they say that it's not Nkandla, all Nkandla was stealing from the straight fiscus. All Zuma did was steal state money, making a bogus claim that, well, it's his residence and he's entitled to it because he's president. At least that's plausible, even though it's a lie. But there's no plausibility. Well, the Sudanese businessman came to Pala Pala with $580,000 to buy an Ankole bull. Where's the bull? At Pala Pala. Where's the Sudanese businessman? Oh, he went home. Are you selling semen? Is he a stud? No. So the $580,000 he brought in a private plane. Why wasn't it reported to SARS or to Customs? You can't bring in more than $20,000 to South Africa without reporting it. How did he bring in $560,000 more? What about the bank statements from the robbers, all of whom had no money, essentially, before they robbed Pala Pala? And forensic tracing shows deposits and expenditures in excess of 8.4 million US dollars. So what about perjury before Parliament? What about lying to the public? Wow. Bunch of nonsense. ANC Youth League, nothing but gas bag preening retards, which they've always been. And so they say that Ramaphosa cannot speak at Youth Day. ANC Youth League President Colin Malachi. ANC Youth League President says Cyril Ramaphosa will not be allowed to address young people at the upcoming June 16th Youth Day celebrations until unemployed attendees submit their CVs. Speaking during media briefing on Tuesday, League President Colin Malachi said the initiative is part of the organization's program Youth Job. Young people attending will be encouraged to submit their CVs as part of the program Youth Job campaign in confronting youth unemployment. Really? So, I'm sorry. Let me read your CV. Okay. So, let's see. You graduated from Fort Hare with 36% in maths, correct? Yes, I did. And you graduated with 22% in English. Yes, I did. And you got just 41% in Xhosa, which is your first language. Yes, I did. And you have never worked. You've never interned. You're 29 years old. You're living in the Cape Flats. What qualifications do you have here to be an engineer here at Eskom working for us repairing power generation units? Well, I'm in the Youth League and I'm black, so give me my job. Excuse me? Excuse me? What you talking about, Willis? Pala Pala, folks, was not 10 million rand. More like 15 million. It's actually a lot more than that. So Kyle Cowan does an investigative report, which falls short of what yesterday's News 24 report said. Millions more rand were stolen from Ramaphosa than was declared by him initially thought. It's a lot more than 15 million rand. It's more like a lot more. 100 plus million. In total, police have been able to connect David to cash deposits and direct transactions, including with dollars totaling 15 million rand. That's just David. That's just one of them. When you look at all the accounts, it was $8.4 million. $8.4 million. So, Kyle, thank you for your investigative report, but it falls short. Wow. Well, the Rand shrugs off Ramaphosa's impeachment storm. Markets don't care. He rejected calls to resign late Monday in his address to the nation. He said the GU is making good progress, thus supporting Rand. Devin Perelman. Yeah, not really. South Africa's lost 59,000 nurses from 2013 to 2025, and 6,000 doctors and nurses resigning from state facilities each year. It's no wonder healthcare is so abysmal in South Africa. All of your healthcare professionals have led the gangster land of South Africa for safer shores abroad, more responsibility, and far better pay. Wow. A mother and baby were killed in a vehicle crash involving the health minister, Aaron Motsladi's car. It was being driven by a Protection and Security Services member. South African Police Service confirmed the official vehicle of Health Minister Aaron Motslade was involved in a fatal accident on the N1 near Bella Bella in Limpopo back on May 9th. According to preliminary investigation, a woman was attempting to cross the road with her 2 children, including 1 baby strapped to her back, when the collision occurred. They were attempting to get to the other side of the road to attend to an earlier incident in which the woman's husband was allegedly struck by a vehicle driven by an off-duty police officer and died at the scene. It's further alleged that while crossing the road, the woman and her children were involved in a collision with the minister's official vehicle. Tragically, the mother and baby succumbed to their injuries. Good Lord, the entire family wiped out by a blue light brigade. Motslade and his driver in close protection remained at the scene after the crash until emergency service and police arrived. 2 separate cases of culpable homicide are under investigation. I mean, that's stupid people. This woman trying to cross the road with traffic there. I'm not absolving the police of this responsibility for the death, but I mean, that child didn't have any chance. Mother was stupid. No chance whatsoever. Explosive racism storm as Ngizi Mkhunu dragged to the South African Human Rights Commission over anti-Indian rant. Once again, these social media retards run their mouth in their bigotry and racism and get away with it. Just like Nota Baloy, let's see what his conviction will be. South African Hindu Dharma Sabha has lodged a complaint with the South African Captured Human Rights Commission against controversial media personality and social commentator Ngizwe Mkhunu for his rabid racist rant targeting at Indians. President Ram Maharaj said the National Hindu Religious and Cultural Organization had been inundated with calls from concerned Indians to act effectively. In a scurrilous viral podcast featuring Anota and Ngizi Mkhunu, circulated widely on TikTok and other social media platforms, Indians were allegedly referred to as rabid racist rant targeting as patently constitutes hate speech. His vitriolic attack amounts to a prima facie case of unfair racial discrimination. Derogatory and inflammatory word usage is tantamount to a gross violation of preventing and combating of hate crimes and hate speech. It prohibits intentional communication, including online, that shares, propagates, or advocates hatred based on race, gender, religion, sexual orientation, and other grounds. Moreover, his callous and crass comments may be construed as inciting hatred. Nothing will happen to him. Nothing will happen to him because he has the right skin pigmentation for the captured South African Human Rights Commission that simply ignores racism and calls the violence directed against minorities. So he'll be given a perfunctory apology like Nota Baloy, and he'll laugh about it as he reads it on air. The end of a 44-year-old South African icon. I wouldn't call City Press an icon. I'd call it a propaganda outlet. City Press is officially closing its doors, with Media24 launching a consultation process for the existing staff. City Press, one of South Africa's best-known publications with a history dating back to 1982, was founded by Jim Bailey and South African Associated Newspapers to serve black readers. City Press has already shut down a lot of Afrikaans version papers, including Beeld, Rapport, The Daily Sun, shut down, and Volksblad all closed their print editions in 2024. City Press was around for 44 years, and they say it was the voice of black South Africa. I say it's the voice of propaganda. Propaganda. City Press. Farewell to City Press. A nation loses its voice. No, nobody lost their voice. They lost their propaganda outlet. May 10th, 2026, City Press published its last edition. The decision by the owners to shut down the media icon marks the end of an era for South African journalism. For 44 years, this iconic publication stood as a beacon of truth, resilience, and intellectual rigor, carving its place in the hearts of readers and annals of history. Actually, that's a fairy tale. City Press is a propaganda outlet that demonizes innocent South Africans. Their abysmal commentary on Ronaldo Gous is proof of their bigotry, racism, and rampant propaganda. Good riddance to yet another useless rag. Another one bites the dust. City Press ends a run after 43 years, reaching their final chapter. Well, good riddance. We don't need these lying propaganda outlets. Aspen Pharmacare and the African Centers for Disease Control are in advanced talks to secure demand for local vaccines. This is the same organization that took over $700 million from the European Union and from America and produced 0 COVID vaccines for Africa. The African Centers for Disease Control and Prevention and Aspen Pharmacare are in advanced discussions about long-term demand and supply alignment framework aimed at giving vaccine manufacturers the market certainty that they need to sustain and expand production on the continent. Well, good luck with that. Aspen Pharmacare. I still want to know where the $711 million went to. South Africa's second largest landlord is running out of roof space for solar. Oh, no. Sorry, Green Revolution. It doesn't work. South Africa's second biggest landlord is running out of rooftop space for solar. Redefined Property says its solar assets made a big impact on cost containment, saving it almost $108 million over 6 months. They're now looking to transport its private power to end users as its next big opportunity. They own assets such as Mponya Mall in Soweto, Centurion Mall, the Blue Route Mall in Cape Town, and quite a portfolio of office industrial space. They've already installed solar capacity with a maximum output of 62,000 megawatts, 6.2 gigawatts. That's pretty high. Wow. 75% of their installed solar capacity is at shopping malls. Shopping malls. Now, they're all excited about this, but when they realize the capital cost of replacing those panels or repairing those panels and maintaining those panels over time, that excitement will wane. They don't tell you how much money it costs them to install all that solar. They don't tell you how much money it takes to maintain all those panels to keep that system functioning. They just tell you, we've saved $108 million. Yeah, well, that's nice. How much did you spend? There must be consequences, ladies and gentlemen, to the brutal and either reckless or intentional effort to harm Dion Faree by Ian Henderson. There must be consequences. Stormers defense coach Norman Laker wasn't happy with the handling of an incident that resulted in Dion Faree's knee injury in Belfast. Faree had his knee wrecked by a dangerous cleanup by Ulster lock Ian Henderson, who was yellow then red carded. It should have been red carded from the outset. Laker also defended eighth man Evan Ruiz' mixed bag performance, saying he didn't make his mistakes on purpose. Yes, but Evan screwed us royally. He needs to learn discipline. He's a great player, but he loses his discipline, and it cost us this game. Henderson was given a yellow card, which is upgraded to a 20-minute red card. We don't know the status of Dion Faree. He came off the field with a brace afterwards, and he's flying back to South Africa to get a scan and diagnosis of what happened to his knee. The doctors haven't given us any feedback, so we're waiting for that to come. But from an on-field perspective, I thought it should have been a red card. He got a yellow, and that was reviewed to red after that, but we lost one of our captains in the team. Yep. It's quite disappointing, especially if you look at what happened late in the game with what happened to Evan Ruiz. But lucky for him, he was a lone cleaner. Could have been a penalty for us, but not nice to lose a player like that. No, it should have been a straight red card, and they should have been short a player the rest of the game, not a 20-minute red card. That was nonsense. We're interesting to see how the ANC handles the impeachment process. It will be interesting. It will be interesting. The U.S. and Iran are locked in a stalemate in a war that isn't a war, that isn't peace, that is peace, that isn't either. What the heck? They're far apart on the deal, but neither one wants to start the fighting over again. The U.S. and Iran are locked in diplomatic stalemate over issues that have bedeviled the two sides for years as the conflict settles into a gray zone that is neither war nor peace. Ceasefire is entering its second month, and despite sporadic violence, has now lasted almost as long as the fighting which preceded. There is little to indicate that the U.S. or Iran is ready to compromise. Well, the U.S. should not compromise. We cannot allow them to have a nuclear weapon, and we are not going to give them control of the Strait of Hormuz. They have no legal right to do that, and they have no legal right to claim it. It's international waters. President Xi Jinping is poised to press President Trump on his arms sales to Taiwan, to which I say, sell them weapons, sell them lots of weapons, build many weapons, create U.S. military base on Taiwan. That's what I say. Beijing has called Taiwan the core of China's core interest. Well, too bad for you, you demonic crapweasel communist. It's not your country. You're not entitled to it. The United States' stance on Taiwan is rested for decades on a complex lattice work of policies designed to support the island democracy while avoiding treating it officially as an independent country, a step that would enrage Beijing. Many in Taiwan are holding their breath for what may happen, that delicate structure, when President Trump, with his off-the-cuff transactional ways, meets China's leader Xi Jinping. Well, there you go. Good luck with that, Xi. Trump is not going to cancel the weapons sales to Taiwan, and he shouldn't. Trump is facing an emboldened China, Well, it's emboldened how? Their economy is collapsing. They're out of oil. They can't produce anything. Their birth rate is collapsing. The country is in free fall. Slight embellishment, but a rather accurate statement nonetheless. President Trump returns to China nearly a decade after his last visit. He'll find a country that's more self-sufficient, military assertive, and economically insulated from the tools the president sought to stymie China's ambitions. Actually, that's not true. I'm sorry, Jonathan Cheng. That is not true. China is incredibly vulnerable to the tools Trump has put against them, not the least of which is no Iranian oil. These people get paid to write for the Wall Street Journal. Give me a break. Keir Starmer defies calls to resign. Here's the next one that's going to resign. It won't just be Cyril. It will be this guy. Prime Minister Keir Starmer vowed to continue in office as he met with cabinet ministers. Dozens of Labour Party lawmakers had urged him to step down after heavy loss in local elections. Yep. At the cabinet meeting, Starmer dared his critics to formally challenge him if they had the support to do so, telling ministers the country expects us to get on with governing. Well, no, people expect you to leave because you're useless. Well, ladies and gentlemen, back in the early 1990s, Sweden's economy nearly imploded because they were a socialist state with welfare payments that were far in excess of what's reasonable. People were dependent on the state, and the state just gave money away, taking it from taxpayers. The highest tax rate in Sweden was 90% of your income had to go to the government. The exception was for the family who owned IKEA. They didn't pay any taxes. The wealthiest family in all of Sweden was barred from paying taxes, was exempted from paying taxes, I should say. Sweden nearly collapsed. The government took over almost every bank in the country. All the large banks were appropriated by the government. They managed them because the country was in free fall. It was in desperate situation. They reduced the social welfare state. They increased private property rights. They turned to the free market, and Sweden soared. And now, 30 plus years later, the Wall Street Journal has discovered that Sweden is a capitalist success. The whole time that Bernie Sanders, over the past 6 years, kept saying, "We should do what the Scandinavians do. We're democracy, socialist democracy." All that retarded stuff from Bernie Sanders. Sweden has a more capitalistic society than the United States and has had one for over 30 years. And what are the consequences? Growth, despite the invasion of criminal alien invaders who've brought gang rape and crime and murder and drugs to Sweden. Despite that, Sweden has grown because of this capitalist bent. It is more capitalist than the United States. And now the Wall Street Journal, once again, belatedly discovers this fact. I love these media outlets that have no vision, no forethought, no ability to look down the road and predict things like I do. The world's most surprising capitalist makeover is underway in Sweden. The shakeup of cradle-to-grave care is lowering government spending, spurring innovation, and stirring fears about those left behind. Well, that's been going on since 1992, genius. Who wrote this? Tom Fairless. This paragon of collectivism is pivoting towards rugged individualism. It did it 32 years ago, genius. For decades, Sweden was shorthand for the brand of high-tax, high-spend government that managed people's lives from cradle to grave through state-run hospitals, schools, and care homes. No longer. With little fanfare, this Nordic country of 11 million has embraced capitalism. 30-some years ago. Sweden's experience has lessons. The capitalist makeover has allowed Sweden to do what few industrialized countries have managed in recent years, shrink the size of the state. That has enabled the government to sharply lower taxes and sparked a surge in entrepreneurialism and economic growth. Its total public spending bill, which includes healthcare, education, and all welfare payments, has fallen to 24%, similar to the U.S. and well below the over 30% for nations like France and Italy. 23.7%. There you go. But we keep being told it's a socialist country. What a crock. What an absolute crock. And welcome to the party, rather belatedly. The surge in gasoline prices as a consequence of uncertainty over the war in Iran has pushed inflation in the United States up to 3.8%, the highest level in 3 years. Of course, that's poppycock, the lies being told about the price of gasoline. It's been above 3.8% in the years under Biden. Consumer price accelerated for the second straight month in April as the war in Iran added renewed inflationary pressures. The annual inflation rate rose to 3.8% from 3.3% in March. It's the highest level since May of 2023. Bullshit. Last month's headline reading came in above the consensus at 3.7%. Fuel prices are driving this. And once the fuel prices come down, then we'll have prices drop. Inflation will disappear for a while. Virginia Democrats have screwed up their petition to the Supreme Court. Days after producing a Supreme Court motion riddled with typos in their bid to reinstate the gerrymandered congressional map, Virginia Democrats filed a new motion to the High Court, this time with an even bigger mistake. Virginia Attorney General Jay Jones on Monday asked the Supreme Court to set aside the state Supreme Court ruling last week that struck down the Democrats' map because the legislature broke procedural rules in rushing it to voters. The emergency motion, however, was erroneously addressed to the Supreme Court of Virginia. The mistake followed an earlier version of the motion that misspelled Virginia and Senator. But in this filing, Virginia is misspelled once again, but on page 53. The Democrats can't even spell the name of the state they live in. Let's see, Virginia. FIVRXYZ. What kind of lawyers do these demon rats have in Virginia? The good news, the Democrats managed to spell Virginia correctly. The bad news, they sent their emergency application to the state Supreme Court. Baby steps. You can't make this stuff up, man. You can't make this up. They're so stupid. Oh, my goodness. The United States has announced that 53 million barrels of oil will be taken from a strategic petroleum reserve on a loan. Oil companies may begin scheduling deliveries immediately. Interesting. There's an oil storage facility in Freeport, Texas from 2020. The U.S. government will loan 53 million barrels of oil from Strategic Petroleum Reserve to petroleum companies in a bid to relieve elevated gas and oil prices amid the conflict with Iran. Why? What's the problem? Why do we need to take strategic reserve? I don't understand that. We're producing 14 million barrels of oil a day. Why do we need to do that? What am I missing here? Participating petroleum companies can use President Trump's usage of the Jones Act waiver. Federal statute requires all goods transported by water between U.S. ports to be carried by American ships. So foreigners can carry it. Well, that's nice. The Department of Energy has already loaned 80 million barrels from the reserve in recent weeks, bringing the total to 172 million. U.S. government had agreed to that larger amount in March in a pact with more than 30 countries to release 400 million barrels. Decision is an attempt to mitigate the price increases caused by the effective closure of the Strait of Hormuz. This is indeed the biggest crisis in history, the director of the IEA said. Strategic Petroleum Reserve, held in caverns at 4 sites on the coast of Texas and Louisiana, holds 384 million barrels of oil today. And of course, Joe Biden sold oil from there to Chinese companies in a bid to lower energy prices when he drove up the price of energy. So, not the appropriate use for it. Maryland officials are monitoring 2 people for hantavirus after they flew with infected passenger. What the hell? Once again, stupidity. We're allowing people to fly. Why are they not quarantined? Maryland Department of Health is monitoring 2 residents who shared a plane with a European cruise ship passenger infected with hantavirus. State officials stressed Monday that neither resident was a passenger on the Dutch flag ship, and the infected passenger was on their flight only briefly. Only briefly. The cruise ship docked in the Canary Islands near Tenerife. U.S. officials said 1 of 17 Americans evacuated tested positive, and the plane was carrying them. That's actually not true. 2 people have tested. We don't know the status of them. But this is the Andes strain of hantavirus, which is transmittable human-human contact, unlike all the other strains. eBay has rejected a $56 billion takeover bid from GameStop. I got to be honest, I always thought GameStop is nothing but a money laundering operation. You never see anybody in their stores. In letters to GameStop Chief Executive Officer Ryan Cohen, eBay Chairman Paul Presser wrote, "We have concluded that your proposal is neither credible nor attractive." $56 billion isn't credible for a freaking, online auction site? eBay? Give me a break. Are you high? eBay added in a letter that it's confident its current management team is well positioned to continue leading the business and driving growth. GameStop made an audacious bid for the big e-commerce platform, which is several times the size, but a rollout led by GameStop's meme stock king appeared to fizzle. GameStop had offered $125 a share in cash and stock for eBay's share. eBay shares had been trading for about $104 before the offer was publicized, giving the company a market value of $45 billion, while GameStop's is around $11 billion. And again, I don't even understand how GameStop even has any market value. I've never seen them do anything. Never seen anybody in their stores anywhere. United States poll shows that the youth are unpatriotic than ever before. A recent poll has found that millennials and Gen Z feel less patriotic than their predecessors. conducted for the Deseret News. 69% of respondents describe themselves as somewhat or very patriotic, but only 56% of those 18 to 34 identified themselves as patriotic. Millennials were born between 80 and 96, and Gen Z from 97 to 2012. The poll revealed a gap between political parties, with 82% of Republicans identifying as patriotic and just 61% of Democrats. That doesn't surprise me. So young people are not patriotic. Shame. Some of them anyway. Fair portion. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the news for today, the 12th of May, 2026. I will not go, says Cyril. The Democratic words identified as correct, says Carlos. That's good. I visit Taiwan around 1950. I went on a tour, and we were shown the U.S. Air Force Base. Largest contingent now closed. Only small contingent still on the island. Yep. Yes, David Simpson is easy to revive. And actually, I've never been to Taiwan, and I need to get there. I need to get there. Need to get to Taiwan. Need to get that on my agenda. Absolutely. Look forward to it. The only place I've been to Asia is Japan. I've been to Oceania in New Zealand, but not Japan. But not Asia, just Japan. Man, somebody's blowing up my phone with some nonsense. What is going on over here? Okay, sorry, it was important. Okay. IOW, social engineering works, not surprising. Thanks for the news. You're welcome, Johan Barnard. Okay. And then I said, no, but they're still chasing me about outstanding debt. Oh. Well, I'm getting stuff here. I get this thing from this company claiming, outstanding debt to T-Mobile. I don't know the outstanding debt to T-Mobile. Every month they take payment. If I owed the money, they would have taken it. It's an auto debit. Yeah. Just fraud. Yassine, what's up, man? How's it going? Nick Muller, Garrett Gillitz, Chris Swanepoel's here, Charles Van Onselen. Future looks bright. He's talking about something that happened a generation ago. I think he could find a more relevant. Exactly. Slow news day at the Wall Street Journal. Exactly right. Future looks bright. I mean, what I talked about, that was 1992. And throughout the 1990s, I pointed to Sweden and how it reduced the size of social spending, which was nearly half its economy at one point. Yep. And now he's talking about it today. You should take a test and finish school. Yep. David Martins, welcome. You got a Mauser? I don't have any Mausers. Gus, what's going on, man? What's going on? All right. Christian Ehlers, welcome to you. Okay, who else we got here in the chat? Not to mention the government wanting everyone to register for solar installation and get taxes. Exactly. Ridiculous. I don't get taxed on my solar. How's my solar doing? Yesterday, I think I had a pretty good day. I checked it when it was around 5 p.m., and then I was trying to get on a flight. So today it's 13, but it's early. It's 1 o'clock. It's getting me about 6 per hour now. What did I get yesterday? What? The week. Yesterday got, is that all? 38. I thought it did better than that, so it's not great. And today, I'm just starting to reach the peak. It'll probably reach the peak around 2 p.m., and I'm already at 13, so we'll see how today goes. But for the month, 371 kilowatts so far, but almost halfway through the month, so it could be a lot better than that. A little bit disappointing. Temperature outside currently is 57 degrees Fahrenheit, according to this, but the thermometer that's judging that's probably in the shade where the inverter's at, I'm guessing. And my report says it's 61, so I'm not sure which it is. Anyway. Need the secrets of free energy revealed. Well, do you believe in this cold fusion mumbo jumbo? Thanks, but not sure how to chat privately. Got some private questions. You can't chat privately. It doesn't work here. Your chat is for everybody to see. It's not how YouTube works. What was wrong with the sound? Was the mic shut off again? The mic is shut off a couple times. I mean, the software is undermining me. It's not me turning it up. Usually it's me turning it off like this. But a couple of times recently I've noticed it's the software. I maybe have to install a new version. When your government's corrupt the bone, nothing will change because the opposition parties are corrupt. Hey, what's up? The Hadida ladies. The Hadida ladies are here. Welcome to you. How long does it take to loot a country with currency more valuable than the dollar? 30 years. Well, it took less time than that. This African, no amount of goodwill, money, or effort will change it. Only they can change themselves for better. They need to take responsibility, not receive charity. The latter is counterproductive. Yes. Yep. Piston says, Iran better ignore this until I'm out of here. All right. The old Ellis Ross base that had been repurposed for private use. Huh. How did the thief manage to deposit the dollars in their accounts? The bank should investigate for corruption. They were in Namibia. That's how. That's how. Anyway, so who knows? The money that's there, they're finding lots of money. Lots of money. Yep. So who do we believe? Ramaphosa? I don't think we believe Ramaphosa. I really don't think most of us believe Ramaphosa. Anyway, yep. Love the warning sign. Oh, you like that warning sign? That was a gift from a refugee. This was a gift from a refugee from the Hoover Dam. Somebody's on a work break. Okay, Gus. Oh, cool. Okay, Gus. Thanks for joining us during your break. Appreciate that. Anyway, folks, feel free to hit that Sir wins the Darwin Award. Yeah, Garrett, he might. Yep. Love the warning sign. Okay. Yeah, that was a gift from a refugee. So, yeah, Cyril may, in fact, very well win the Darwin Award at some point here. He's done some stupid stuff. Anyway, but he will not go. He planted money trees. Pala Pala, where the secrets play. Under the cushions, the cash will stay. 70 show father about applying for we want to go ahead. I'm not sure what you're typing there. Is it too late? Is it too late for what? To apply for the refugee program? No. Why is it too late? Why would you say that? Why would you say it's too late? It's not too late. This mail came. What is this? Discover Europe in 1 week. Is this a cruise? Let me see if there's a cruise. Looks like it might be a cruise. Shorter trips, lasting memories. Okay. Exclusive access, premier stays, closer connections. At Tauk, we believe the best journeys balance iconic landmarks, authentic. Well, I do my own travel, so let's see what they're offering. Oh, yeah, here we go. Great Britain and Ireland. Let's go to the Anglo-Celtic Caliphate. 8 days in Ireland for $5,960 per person. Yeah, I can fly there for $900, spend $100,000 on hotels, living frugally, and be back for less than $2,000. A week in Scotland, St. Andrews, never been there. Inverness, been there. Edinburgh, been there. 8 days from $7,590. A week in London and Paris, been there, done that, no need to go back. 8 days from $7,290. Italy, Tuscany, Cinque Terre, and the Portofino coast. Been there, done that. 8 days from $5,990. Don't need to do it. A week in Venice, Florence, and Rome. $5,990. Been there, been there, been there. Don't need to do it. A week in the Piedmont. Torino, Langa, Lake Maggiore, Stresa, Alba, Gavi. 8 days from $6,990. Been there, done that. Don't need to do it. Spain and Portugal and France. A week in Spain. $5,590. Don't need to do that. I have been to not really Spain. A week in the French Riviera, Nice, Monte Carlo, Aix, Saint Remy, Avignon, and Paris. 8 days from $6,890. Been there, done that, don't need to do it again. Was just there for the Rugby World Cup. Impressions from the Seine, Paris to Normandy, $5,190. Well, I've been to Normandy, I've been to Paris, don't need to do that. Central and Northern Europe, a week in Switzerland. Okay, well, I like that. But a week in Switzerland, Lausanne, Interlaken, Jungfrau Joch, and Luzern. I've been to all of those, and it's 8 days from $7,990. Don't need that. A week in Copenhagen and Oslo. Been to both. $5,590. Scandinavian-style Nordic culture come life from canal cruises and Tivoli Gardens. Been there. To Hans Christian Andersen's roots. Been to his house. And in Oslo, experienced world-class museums and the vibrant waterfront. Been there, done that. $5,600. Don't need to do it. The romantic ride, Amsterdam to Basel, Amsterdam to Cologne, Heidelberg, Strasbourg, and the Swiss Alps. Been there, done that, all of those. 8 days from $5,990. And then finally, on the back, let's see what these are on the back here. Oh, I already got that one, sorry. Yep, I saw them all. Yep, don't need any of that nonsense. Wow, that's pretty ridiculous. What is there to see in England, Ireland? Islamists praying in the streets. Yeah, well, on the Church of England grounds, nonetheless. Sacrilege. And allowed to get away with it. Ons wird etwa het drei Tutsi drei. Okay. I'm never going to cruise. Lots of viruses on this. I've been on cruises. It depends where you go. All I can afford is a week at home with a layover on the couch. EB, I'm with you on that one, especially after all the money I spend on this refugee stuff. Yep. I miss getting mail. I get mail every day, man. Every day. In fact, the mailman was here earlier, so I'll go out and collect that shortly. Should try and have a look into all the towns flooded in Western Cape, many complete cut off, some being evacuated. Also heard like beaches have disappeared too. Entire beaches just washed away. But the ocean will revive it. They'll bring those back slowly. It may take some time, but yep. Stevens land in USA. Who is Stevens and where did Stevens land at in USA? The Isle of Man. Ooh, I've been to the Isle of Man. Yeah, you can apply anytime for the refugee program. There's no timeline on it. Being from South Africa, born in 94, I remember being called a freedom baby. However, my experience the last 7 years has been slow and painful loss of freedom and safety. Yeah, I got you, Cheesy. I got you. Is Line in the Sand here from Windhoek? There he is. Welcome. How's it going, Line in the Sand? How you doing? Hey, Dylan. Yeah, no, the weather's been crazy in the Western Cape, hasn't it? It's absolutely crazy. So, thanks to those who watched my video from yesterday, which did okay. It isn't great. It's at 38,800 now. Slowly going up. Could use some more views on that. Finally hit 665 in the last hour. Thank you for that. 63 subscribers, though. 2,000 hours content watched. Thank you for that. That's the best performing video I've had in, let's see, last time I had a video had 37,000, 38,000 views. Wow. We're going to be going back a month at least. Yep. Elon Musk, Starlink. Yep. That was on April 13th, the last time I had, and that was at 40,500. Wow, it's been really slow. Yeah, it's a shame. But so, yeah, 37, it's got 38,000, so there. He sent me a chat, says Amalia Low, excuse me. We've got a voice note from somebody whom I don't recognize. What's this? All right, open this up and see what this is. Oh, jeez. Somebody sent me this from Carl Nyhorst. Asked the Minister of Trade, Industry and Competition. Okay, Minister of Trade, Industry and Competition. Whether in light of the unprovoked criminal war that the United States of America and the State of Israel have unleashed on the Islamic Republic of Iran in contravention of the United Nations Charter, and furthermore in light of the genocide that apartheid Israel, with the assistance of the USA, is continuing to carry out against Palestinian residents in Gaza, genocide that was confirmed by Southern's case against apartheid, but he intends to ensure that the next logical step, in addition to cutting all diplomatic ties with apartheid Israel, is to cut all trade, financial, and economic ties with apartheid. If not, why not? If so, what are the relevant details? Whether the ongoing large coal exports from South Africa to apartheid Israel, which surged 87% year on year, whether he has found that the massive coal exports, primarily through Richards Bay Harbor, help sustain the Israeli economy, whether he intends to engage his cabinet colleagues in order to introduce a formal ban on all coal exports. And the reply is, Republic of South Africa is deeply concerned about the situation in the Middle East, remains committed to initiatives to achieve peaceful coexistence in the region. The South African government is saddened by the unfortunate loss of lives. South Africa and the State of Israel do not have formal relations. South African and Israeli government forum that existed was co-chaired by DIRCO director and last met in 2005. As a member of the World Trade Organization and the United Nations, the South African government is guided by multilateral decisions with respect to trade relations. South Africa will also adhere to resolutions. Both South Africa and Israel are members of the World Trade Organization. Sanctions applied by one member against another in the absence of multilateral sanctions by the UN would violate the World Trade Organization principle of non-discrimination, would open the country to legal challenge. South African government has not conducted a study on whether the coal exports sustain or to what extent the exports sustain the Israeli economy. In 2025, South Africa exported 1.8 million tons of coal to Israel, equating 2.6% of South Africa's global coal exports. There are continuous discussions on these matters to ensure alignment in the government. However, currently there's no position to review South Africa exports to Israel. Oh, Carl Niehaus trying to cause trouble in Parliament. He's got nothing else to do. Nothing else to do. He's nothing but a troublemaker. Nothing but a troublemaker. All right. If they can't fly, they what? Erica has a family in Worcester. Oh, you have family in Worcester. Oh, thank you, Erica. Hey, good to see you again, Erica. Citrustal, Wuppertal, some areas, Stellenbosch. What's going on there, Loretta? The school my kids went to in Wellington is without their sports ground because of the river washing away. Well, that's crazy. What is happening in New York with Muslims praying in the streets? Is it true or fake news? Oh, no, it's true. It's true. It needs to be stopped. They're obstructing traffic. They're a public nuisance and needs to be stopped. Tinky, thank you for the... Why am I not hearing that? I've got it turned on. It's odd. I don't have any sound there. Thank you for the 70 Rand super sticker. Appreciate that. Yes, God's girl, it is happening in New York. It's also happening in London, where the Muslims desecrate the Church of England's grounds by openly bowing down and submitting their fealty to a deity, which is disgusting to do on sacred ground belonging to the Anglican Church. Citrus doll is covered in water. Doesn't surprise me. Hopefully the bridge doesn't wash out this time. Corey sent me okay. Let's see if I can find Corey. No. Corey, I don't know how you send stuff to me. Oh, you said, I'm sorry, you said you emailed, didn't you? Oh, my bad. I'm looking at my WhatsApp. Silly me. I haven't looked at my mail in a few days. People are probably getting frustrated by that, but so am I. Okay. Corey. I have no Corey listed here. No Corey listed here. Oh, there we go. Why are you not showing up until I do that? Oh, that's you email me a YouTube channel. Yeah, I can't play someone else's channel. I'll get a copyright claim. Got it. Thanks, Corey. For some reason, you didn't show up when I first did it. I don't know why. Anyway. All right, cool beans. I like Citrus Doll. Sent you a message on your post. Please go check it out. On my post? What post? On X? On my account? What? Vilma, meds kicking in well. Sleep well, rest well. Delusional alliances covering for Rama's delusional alliance. Faithful Farmer, how's it going today? Okay. All right. Okay, guys. Why don't we wrap it up here today, okay? That'll do it for today. Got lots to do back in town. Got to go to the Veterans Organization. Got to go get my mail from the post office. Got a lot of things to do. All right, so I need to take care of that. You guys have a lovely evening. And I will catch you all this evening for Night Owls, okay? All right? Your accounts were scammed. Okay, that happens, unfortunately. Thanks, everybody. God bless. Thank you for being here. I'm going to get something to eat, too. I'm starving. Cheers. Go back and watch the stream commemorating 1 year of refugees in America. That was on earlier.